Good evening. Welcome to Reading Things with a Southern Accent, 2020, episode number 55. 55. Double nickels. We have made it to 55. Whoa, gotta turn the volume down there. Hey, have I shown you this yet? I just realized this was in my pocket. This is my handy dandy COVID-19 mask that I have to wear when I go out into public. I wear this to the post office. I wear this to the grocery store. And tonight, I'm going to wear it to dinner. I'm very excited. When this is over, I got to do a quick thing in the studio, and then we're going to go out to eat on Main Street, Frisco. We're going to the Uptown. Going to go see Cindy and my friend who works at the bar, who I can't remember his name. I'm going to order food off a menu that we didn't have to prepare. What? That's the producer says that someone else has touched. So let's hope they have washed their hands, because that's important right now. But this is my mask. I'm very excited about wearing this to dinner tonight. We are in Jane Austen week. We started last night with Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice was written in 1813. Was written or published in 1813. Kyle Berkman's watching. Hi, cousin Kyle. Mom and Dad are here. Excellent. Well done. There's a couple extra people who I don't know who's here. Doug's here. Excellent. 1813. Pride and Prejudice was published in 1813, written by Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel of manners. That's the short end of it. Yeah, it's coming out of the headphones over there. I'm not going to worry about it. Pride and Prejudice has consistently appeared near the top of lists of most loved books among literary scholars and the reading public. It has become one of the most popular novels in English literature, with over 20 million copies sold, and has inspired many derivatives in modern literature. What was the piece of trivia that you found last night that I said that we would use tonight? It was going to be called something else. She's going to look that up. Howdy. While she looks up that little moment of trivia, we started off last night, early in the book, Pride and Prejudice. Oh, thank you. Where Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy engage early on. And there's a bit of a... what's the word? It's like romantic conflict. Tension. See, this is why she's here. Pride and Prejudice was originally going to be called First Impressions, but because Sense and Sensibility was such a success, the publisher, which I don't remember who the publisher is, wanted to capitalize on the blank and blank of Jane Austen's book. So they went from Sense and Sensibility to Pride and Prejudice. Tonight we find ourselves in Chapter 8 of Pride and Prejudice, Microsome. Ponderosa, the Murpharosa. Papa Smurf has tuned in from the Murpharosa. Okay, we find ourselves on page 169, Chapter 8 of Pride and Prejudice. Ooh, that is the first time the firewater has touched these lips today. Whew. All right. Mr. Darcy spoke with affectionate praise to his sister's proficiency. I am very glad to hear such a good account of her, said Lady Catherine, and pray tell her She's laughing. What? Oh, Lord. My mother says, pray tell. And pray tell her from me that she cannot expect to excel if she does not practice a great deal. I assure you, madam, he replied, that she does not need such advice. She practices very constantly. So much the better. It cannot be done too much. And when I next write to her, I shall charge her not to neglect it on any account. I often tell young ladies that no excellence in music is to be acquired without constant practice. I have told Miss Bennet several times that she will never play really well unless she practices more. And though Mrs. Collins has no instrument, she is very welcome, as I have often told her to come to Rosings every day and play on the piano forte in Mrs. Jenkinson's room. She would be in nobody's way, in that part of the house. Mr. Darcy looked a little ashamed of his aunt's ill breeding and made no answer. When coffee was over, Colonel Fitzwilliam reminded Elizabeth of having promised to play to him, and she sat down directly to the instrument. He drew a chair near her. Lady Catherine listened to half a song and then talked, as before, to her other nephew till the latter walked away from her, and moving with his usual deliberation towards the pianoforte, stationed himself so as to command a full view of the fair performer's countenance. Elizabeth saw what he was doing, he being Mr. Darcy, Elizabeth saw what he was doing, and at the first convenient pause, turned to him with an arch smile and said, "You mean to frighten me, Mr. Darcy, by coming in all this state to hear me? But I will not be alarmed, though your sister does play so well. There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others. My courage always rises with every attempt to intimidate me. I shall not say that you are mistaken," he replied, "because you could not really believe me to entertain any design of alarming you, and I have had the pleasure of your acquaintance long enough to know that you find great enjoyment in occasionally professing opinions which in fact are not your own." Elizabeth laughed heartily at this picture he drew of herself, and said to Colonel Fitzwilliam, "Your cousin will give you a very pretty notion of me, and teach you not to believe a word I say. I am particularly unlucky in meeting with a person so well able to expose my real character in a part of the world where I had hoped to pass myself off with some degree of credit. Indeed, Mr. Darcy, it is very ungenerous in you to mention all that you knew to my disadvantage in Hertfordshire, and give me leave to say very impolitic too, for it is provoking me to retaliate, and such things may come out as will shock your relations to hear. I am not afraid of you," he said smilingly. "Pray," oh my gosh, I feel like I read that wrong. I'm going to do it again. "I am not afraid of you," he said smilingly. "Pray let me hear what you have to accuse of him," cried Colonel Fitzwilliam. "I should like to know how he behaves among strangers." And that is from chapter 8 of chapter 8. Chapter 31. Well, what was...
There's different sections.
chapter 8, chapter 31. This is very confusing. This is why that Jane Austen never really got anywhere. She doesn't know how to count. Hertfordshire? Hertfordshire is how I should have said that, but it's kind of hard to do in the moment. All right, so there you have it. Tomorrow night is questionable. I do have paying work that I have to do tomorrow afternoon. I have a shoot that starts at 2 o'clock and it is supposed to go until 5, and we will see how that turns out. So tomorrow we might do a third section of Pride and Prejudice. No, we're doing more Pride and Prejudice. Because we got to wrap up the story between Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet. And then we just have to figure out, will I be home in time? Because here's what happens. I have to take this equipment that I use for this show, and I have to take it somewhere else, do my real job, and then come back and reset all this up. So we'll see how it goes. So tomorrow might happen, tomorrow might not happen. If tomorrow doesn't happen, we'll do it Friday. Friday's a great night anyways. And that's it. We got anyone else? Kevin Crane, Dana Hill. People coming out of the woodwork. A few nights ago, Bart Millard. I think it's Millard. I've known him for I don't know how long. He tuned in and watched the show. So that was fun. What? Over 30 years. It's hard. No. That's going to do it for me tonight. The producer and I, thank you very much. The four-legged producer, he is asleep on the couch again. Good dog today. He just got a shot and some other stuff. So anyhow, that's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in. Go make some money, bring home the bacon. That is what I'm planning to do, sir. Make some money. My name is Murph. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, please wash your hands. Good night.